A very good evening to you. It is 5 p.m. This is Hot Edition coming to you live from our studio here at Adesawe in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey, sitting in for your regular host, Alfredo Kanse. Coming up this evening, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission appeals to aggrieved university teachers to return to the negotiation table after their boycott of salary talks. We'll be delving deeper into what happened yesterday and the way forward for the labor issue. Also this evening, ECG and NEDCO under pressure to release load shedding timetable following the continuous power outages being reported across the country. We'll be giving you an idea, especially for those of you who have also been affected. Do let us know how this has impacted your life and your businesses. This is Hot Edition, the hottest 1 hour on radio. This is 3FM. Details in a jiffy. Thank you very much for staying with us. And later in the bulletin, we'll be taking you to the campaign trail where the NDC's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, has reiterated his 2020 electioneering pledge to legalize Okada. We have the latest from his tour of the Volta region for you, which has resumed his Building the Ghana We Want campaign. All right, so let's dig into the details now. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has appealed to aggrieved members of UTAG and TUTAG to come back to the negotiation table. The leadership of the University Teachers Association of Ghana and the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana on Wednesday walked out of a meeting that was deliberating on conditions of service for their members. Earlier today, they followed up with a total boycott of a scheduled meeting with government officials saying they will no longer be part of any talks unless the discussions revolve around the payment of special allowances for market premium. First of all, let's listen to the General Secretary of UTAG, Dr. Asiedu-Dartey, who has been speaking to 3FM.
We told them, if it's not going to be on market premium, we are sorry. For those other issues that we were supposed to have discussed, we wouldn't be availing ourselves for that. And so even as a precondition to getting back to the table, we are telling government that if it is not about the market premium, we are not ready to engage.
What's your next course of action?
Our next course of action is that we've given government within the week. And whilst we are at it, we are engaging our constituents, because to embark on a nationwide strike means that we need that collective permission from membership to say, okay, we are behind you and you can go ahead. And within this period, we are working on that, and to prompt the Labour Commission, National Labour Commission, that this is how far we think we can come with government when it has to do with our conditions of service. And so within the period, if they are not able to reach us, and we've gone through the formality of engaging the membership of all the 15 campuses, as well as prompting Labour Commission, we are good to go. And that government knows. It is not that we will, or we are always ready to threaten government, not at all. And that is why since March 2023 till now, we've been meticulous. We've had the patience to tick all the boxes, to go through what the laws and the policies are required in terms of determining our conditions of service. So we've been patient all these while just to make sure that the silver bullet we have really doesn't come in. But with the way the reneging process has come to, we think it's better to just advise ourselves. And that is exactly what we did yesterday. And going forward, that is our stand.
And that's the voice of Dr. Asiedu-Dartey, who is the General Secretary of UTAG there. So he has been speaking to 3FM. Let's also engage the thoughts of our colleague Daniel Opoku. Now, before we speak to him, we also know that the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur, has been urging the unions to reconsider their stance. He spoke earlier to my colleague Daniel Opoku, who is our labor correspondent.
But would you describe their walkout as marks of bad faith?
For me, it was unexpected, and I wish it had never happened. But I have no more accolades to give to it.
But why wouldn't you have expected some of these? Because, this is an electioneering period. Usually you have labor agitations and the labor front. And I do recall having seen your statement where you're calling for zero strikes and all that. So clearly you were surprised when some of these things occurred.
I wouldn't say I was surprised, but what was a surprise element was when we stepped out and they asked that we should give them the opportunity to caucus. Earlier on, there had been an indication that we could look at an alternative since we couldn't open negotiations on a market premium. So we left the place knowing very well that at the end of the day, some kind of consensus is being built amongst them. But as soon as we were called back, they took their bags and they were going to walk out. But I urged them to sit down and listen to us before, if they wanted to walk out, they could walk out.
So what would the commission be doing?
Is to plead with our colleagues on the other side to let us engage. It is always important that we continue to engage. And you see, in labor practice and in negotiations, in relationships such as we have, the employer-employee relationship, it's like marriage. It's like marriage. You are not going to slash the heads of each other. You won't be successful. So it's the faith that we have in each other and the cordiality that we continue to exhibit. That is what we require to engage. And the good news for all of us is that it is not the fact that government is not going to do anything. We have already given 23% this year for the first half of this year. And don't forget that our lecturers have a number of allowances that are tied into the base pay. So once the base pay goes up, these allowances also go up with it. So there's nothing like bad faith on the part of government at all. There's no bad faith. We need to understand each other. We are in challenging times. So when you come to the table, we do not expect that if you wanted a basket full of mangoes, exactly as you have requested, should be given to you. And that's why we negotiate. The essence of negotiation is to come knowing very well that you might not be able to take away all that you wanted to take away.
Was there a point in your meeting when the two unions, UTAG and TUTAG, had requested the presence of the finance minister?
I will not be able to disclose all these details. That's the essence of this engagement. That's why we don't invite you to these meetings. But at least what they have already put up, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Right.
What they have already put up that you want responses to, that we find appropriate to respond to, that is why we are responding to.
Right.
Don't forget that fair wages per its mandate represents government. So once fair wages has mandates to engage, you do not necessarily require the face of specific individuals there. It's the institutions that we are dealing with.
Right.
And once the government team has a decision to communicate, the spokesperson says it, and it is the entire government machinery that has spoken.
And so you heard that exclusive interview of Ben Arthur, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, in an interview with Daniel Opoku, our labor correspondent. Now let's go to the phone lines now and speak to Professor Mahmoud Akudugu, who is National President of UTAG. Prof, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
Right. To start with, there was a scheduled meeting today that UTAG and TUTAG members and leadership did not attend, based on what happened yesterday after you staged a walkout. To come to terms with what exactly has gone on in the last 24 to 48 hours, are you saying you're already getting responses from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission? They are asking you to rescind your position of not wanting to engage unless your issues are being addressed before you return to the table. They want you to come back to the table. Would you go?
Well, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission knows what to do when they want us to come for meetings. They don't go on radio to announce our coming to meetings, so they know what to do. Thank you.
Right, and on the back of that, what exactly is it? From what we got yesterday, several meetings have not yielded results as per your position, as per the specific issues you had tabled. According to some of your members, it looks like the fair wages always beat about the bush or do not go to the specifics of what you want them to discuss. Is that the case? Is that the only reason why you think that you are not going to be meeting them unless they make your issues frontal?
I listened to Engineer Atta, the CEO of Fair Wages, talked about no bad faith in government. Government does have bad faith and the rest of it. Who negotiates for more than 1 year? We have had occasions to issue threats. If you, from October, we've issued a communique and we talked about the slow pace of the negotiations and the lack of seriousness to completing our negotiations. In fact, we wrote to the Fair Wages, we wrote to the National Labour Commission to complain and to even give 21-day ultimatum. And that were invited because of that. And he knows what we are talking about. So to come to the media and say, government, there's no bad faith and there's this, you have increased base pay salaries, were we negotiating base pay salaries?
Okay.
The base pay salary part of the negotiations we are having with Fair Wages.
And Prof, so probably for those who may not necessarily know, can you give us maybe your top 3 items that the government, according to what we heard yesterday, is refusing or deliberately dancing around and is not addressing as you would expect? What are the top 3 key issues that UTAG and TUTAG are hoping for immediate review by government and addressing it?
Given that we are on the table for negotiations, I would just give you one instead of 3. And that one, which is central to all the things that he's talking about, in fact, is central to all the things that we have been negotiating on, is the market premium. Market premium was introduced to attract and retain scarce skills in the sector. And UTAC is one, not UTAC per se, but university lecturers is considered as one part of those scarce skills that the country has to contend with. And in 2012, when we migrated to single-stand salary structure, an interim market premium was paid to us. And since 2012 up till now, it's still the interim market premium, 2013, it's still the interim market premium that is being paid to us. And we said, determine it. If you, for 11 years or 12 years, you have been, it's the same figure that you have been using. And you issue a white paper saying that market premium is frozen, is absolute figure, and is not subject to negotiations. And we have been following you, determine that figure. You say you haven't been able to do it. Then let's negotiate it. You say you will not negotiate it. And then you tell us that we are showing bad faith. What is the bad faith here? We have raised these issues we've started negotiations since last year. And for more than 1 year, we are still negotiating. We are not tackling the real issue. We are going through the periphery, talking about non-payroll allowances. Those are things that are handled by our universities. And those are things that are not, they are activity-based. If I don't travel, I don't get a per diem.
Right.
So nobody wastes too much time on those things. Those can be sorted. We are talking about the key thing, which is the market premium.
Okay. And finally, yesterday, what we also got from your boycott or your walkout was that you are likely not to return to the table unless who specifically would you want to meet from whom you are sure that your grievances will be addressed? Is it probably the president himself? Who in the government or the public space is UTAG and TUTAG hoping to meet with the confidence that your issues will be addressed?
The point is that I think if you listen to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission chief executive, he mentioned that they have the mandate. He is appointed by somebody and given that mandate to execute. In fact, he's executed that mandate on behalf of the state of Ghana. And that state of Ghana is being managed by the president. We are not calling, we are not, interested in saying that we want to meet the president or want to do whatever. What we are simply saying is that if you have that mandate to negotiate on behalf of the government and to take decisions on public sector pay and the conditions of service for workers in the public sector, execute that mandate. And that mandate includes you determining the market premium. For 12 years, you've not been able to do it. Execute your mandate.
Yeah, Prof. So it is on the that is the premise of my question, that if for 12 years there's been a back and forth, there hasn't been any concrete decisions taken, and the negotiations seem unending, then it's like doing the same thing and expecting different results. What is UTAG looking to do next or new that will, bring the kind of results you're looking for?
What we are looking to do new, as he himself confirmed, that nobody has ever walked out of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We have walked out of the meeting because that is one of them. Because we cannot continue to be wasting our time on meetings that do not yield a significant results. And look, Mr. Asiedu, we travel from far and near, leave our lecture theaters. Students are reporting to the universities. We have first-year students coming. We have the mandate and responsibility to take care of these students. We have left them and we are coming for meetings, and you are telling us that we cannot talk about an important matter as the market premium. We can't continue to do that. We need to change the way we do things. We cannot continue, as we said, doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Okay.
We want to go and focus on our core mandate. We want to teach. We want to take care of our students. And we don't want to continue to be wasting our time on things that do not yield the results that we expect. We negotiate for 1 full year. Okay. And if I tell you cumulatively how much we have gotten through that negotiation for the 1 year, you will laugh.
How much have you gotten?
The main thing.
How much have you gotten cumulatively?
For now, I'll keep that for now. But it's more like an insult to the intellectual community of this country.
Right.
That we are being treated the way we are treated.
But in terms of percentage, that would be like how much? Under 10%? More than 10%?
Less than 5%.
Oh. Okay.
Less than 5%. If I'm placing the figure, absolute figure to you, you'll be like, how can professors engage in negotiations for 1 full year and get less than 500 Ghana cedis? And you say all the things that we are showing bad faith and all that. We are not showing bad faith. We have shown good faith. We have done enough, and we think that enough of the delay. Let's do the right thing, and then this country will move forward.
Okay.
You have the mandate to do what is right. Do it.
Right.
If you determine, if the Wages and Salaries Commission with that mandate determines market premium today and say that UTAG members, you are not entitled to market premium, TUTAG, you are not entitled to market premium. You said it's your prerogative. Determine it and tell us that we are not entitled to it, and we will take it forward. We see the next steps to take. But if you have not determined it, you keep, when we talk about it, in 2019, we talk about 2018, 2019, we talk about it. They came in with something small, leave the market premium. In 2021, 2022, we talked about it. They came in with something, leave the market premium, and we keep doing this.
Yeah.
It's not helping. Let's determine the market premium and move forward.
Okay, Prof, we are grateful for your time this evening. Certainly, this is a subject that all our listeners and ourselves here as journalists are quite interested in, because we all have friends, family members who are in the university, so would hope that the lecturers all university workers stay there and help and teach, as you have indicated. We're looking forward to your next meeting, which is when exactly? Do you have a planned date for the next meeting with Fair Wages?
Well, Fair Wages, they haven't contacted us regarding any meeting. So for us, we are going back to our classroom for now. And whenever our members decide that we should do something else, you to hear.
You do that. Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Mamudu Akurugu, who is National President of UTAG. And that the conversation simply stems from what happened yesterday, where they walked out of the meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission over what they deem is a total disrespect and disregard for the main concern that they have as UTAG and TUTAG. We'll let you know how it plays out in the coming days. If you probably are also a member of UTAG or TUTAG and you're listening to us, do let us know what you make of the last few years of negotiations with the state institution, the Fair Wages, and I will put your message across to the rest of the world. This is 3FM 92.7. You're listening to Hot Edition. It is live from our studio here at Desawe in Accra. Let's go on to some other stories which has affected many Ghanaians and businesses. Has to do with power outages, DUMSO. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, are under pressure to release a timetable amid the ongoing power cuts being witnessed in parts of the country. Several areas of the country have, over the last few days, been experiencing frequent power cuts, affecting the socio-economic livelihoods of people. Yet, the various players in the electricity value chain have been silent on the cause of the power cuts. Some Ghanaians who have been expressing their frustration over the development want a schedule on when to expect outages in order to plan their lives accordingly.
Now my condition has problem because of the power outages, is having problem. My fridge, I put stuff in the fridge, I get back, and then the stuff in the fridge got spoiled. So if I'm told that, there's a DUMSO, then we know how to arrange our things. That's the problem. Certainly.
What do you think government should do?
No, what I want to see for now, I know there's problem with the power sector. But what government should be sincere with us and say, you know what, there's DUMSO, then we know. We should be left in the dark, that's all. I think you and I know that now the country is strapped with cash. The country is strapped with cash. We are all aware of that. So if DUMSO, be sincere with the citizens, that yes, let's bring a time to that we know that we are going to ensure things, don't be prepared for. That's all I want.
To my view to my point of view, I think it may help so that we know that this time or this around this time of the day will go off and the light will come on this time, so that at least we can also have a clear view of how the timetable is going to be, and it at least help us all.
For the past few days now, it goes off in the morning around 9. Then it comes in the evening. Yesterday, it went off around 8 something and came late in the night, around 10 p.m. In fact, it was a hell. We couldn't sleep. The whole room was hot. We had to sit outside for some time, shower so many times before we can manage and sleep.
What do you want government to do?
They should work on it. They should work on it. Seriously. I thought they said they have solved DUMSO. So they said they have solved DUMSO. I don't know how come this dry season and with VRA they had a lot of water. They split some away to distract a lot of people. Don't know how come there is DUMSO now. So they have to work on it. It's very important. Thank you.
Week now, Matkaswa, at our place. Whenever it's 6 o'clock in the evening, the lights just go off. Then 1 o'clock a.m. it will come back. For the past 1 week now, that's what I'm experiencing.
How is it affecting you?
It's affecting me because when you go to work, when you come back from work, you have to rest. That's when you are coming to rest, the light is off. How can you rest? The weather too is hot, so it's affecting us a lot. And we cook for the week, then keep it in the fridge because we go to work and come back late. But when they do that, your food just gets spoiled. So it's affecting us well.
Those are the voices of some Ghanaians who have in the last few days been experiencing power outages and what we popularly call here in Ghana as DUMSO. So many people have been sharing their thoughts on how this is affecting their lives and their businesses. And a former director of public affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, Nanaya Jantwa, who currently says that the current power situation is worse than what transpired in the country during the period of 2016. Let's listen to specifically what she said regarding this and the way forward as she has been proposing.
it is a cash problem. Lot of plants are not running. But the other one was a capacity problem. So there was adequate cash to whatever plants that were available. There was adequate cash to run it. But right now, there is no adequate cash, but we have the capacity available. Do you get me? So those days, as I said, whenever there are these challenges, because we had those issues, His Excellency will ask the finance minister that please provide money for us to get crude oil so that we don't go into a worse situation. But now we are in a very bad situation, worse than before, because there was no time that we did 500 megawatts at a go across the country. And because we in Accra, Kumasi, we are where the load is, because we use a lot of electricity. We are feeling the brunt of it. But even if it's not a timetable, at least say something. Let me know that from 12 to 12. Because yesterday mine went off at 12 and it came on at 12 midnight.
12 hours.
12 hours. So let me know that you are doing a 12-hour curtailment of power to my house, to my factory, to my shop. Do you understand? So that, don't lie about it, don't hide it. So that I know that you can't come out with a timetable because you explain. Because it is not an issue of capacity, it's an issue of cash which can be resolved.
Nanaya Jantua, former Public Affairs Director of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Let's go to the phone lines now, and probably a bit of background. You'd also know that the minority in Parliament says the lack of transparency and communication only adds to the frustration and inconvenience being experienced by the population. Let's go and speak to Nana Amwesi, the 7th Executive Director of the Institute of Energy Security. Nana, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Martin, to your listeners as well.
Grateful. Thank you so much. To start with, what is your reading of the current situation? It looks as though almost every individual who's spoken about this, especially those in the sector, are blaming lack of money as the problem. Is that what the challenge is?
Of course, exactly the challenge we have at hand. It's a financial, issue here. It has nothing to do with technical or regulatory, dimension. We have enough of installed capacity, able to generate more than 4,900 megawatts a day. That's the capacity installed. It's more than 5,200, but then at least available or, potential generation capacity, 4,900. Our peak demand is not more than 3,500. And so it means that we are well cushioned when it comes to power generation. But then you need to feed these generators with fuel so that they can drive and churn out the electricity that we demand. You either fire through, petroleum fuel or use hydro to do that. As we have it today, we have two main sources of natural gas supply for our plants. Most of the plants are not, running on oil as we have it today because gas is cheaper. So you either fall on Atwabo, supplying to the Western Corridor, and beyond that to the Eastern Corridor, being Tema. Then you also have another one coming from Nigeria, some bit, about 55, million standard cubic feet from Nigeria as well. And so these are the two main sources. Unfortunately, WAPCO that need to move the natural gas from the Western Corridor, which is in large quantity, it's not ready to do that because Ghana Gas, the owner of the gas, aggregator of the gas, contracted them to move the gas around, owes them. And so they've shut down their valve. They are not moving from the Western Corridor to the Eastern Corridor. So most of the plants in the Eastern Corridor in Tema Enclave are idle as we speak today. They are not running. These are the capacities we have lost in the chain. And so the issue we have here today is financial. If we pay WAPCO, if we engage them, and if they agree, they may be willing to open the valve so that all the power plants in the Thermal Enclave can start firing. Yes, some gas from Nigeria, but that's not enough, like I mentioned. And even that gas, almost all of that gas is going to Asogli. Asogli, that is able to generate about 550 megawatts, is doing something around 200 megawatts because even the end gas or the Nigeria gas is not enough to power all the turbines that they have.
Right. Nana, thank you very much for that explanation you've given us, especially some of us who may not necessarily have insider knowledge or information like you shared. What then is happening? Because a number of Ghanaians who have experienced this say that they have been paying for power and they are also now experiencing this. So is it that the monies we are paying are not enough in terms of tariff? They are not enough for the distributor, ECG, and also the other people around the value chain to get enough to run these turbines? Or, as the current system is, it is only the government or state that must provide the money to purchase the fuel to power these thermal machines?
Martin, the administrator of the entire power system is government. They decide, how much power should be installed, which power plants must be dispatched, the fuel supply issue, they decide, and also how much we pay. Government decides. And it's not like government, we are not paying the rate government are giving to us. We are paying the tariff that has been adjusted upward for the last 1.5 years. We've been paying that. But the UCG is not collecting enough of that revenue. That's a challenge. If you have an entity like UCG, for commercial and technical reasons, losing almost 30% of the power that's bequeathed to them or the power that is, given to them from the generators. Martin, what do you expect? It means that if you give them 1,000 megawatts, they can account for roughly 700 megawatts. The difference of 30 megawatts is debt. The difference of 30 megawatts that they are not able to collect and pay the other utilities becomes their responsibility and obligation to meet to these entities, generators, distributors, transmitters, and the transmitters of natural gas as well. And so if they're able to, effectively undertake their job, then of course, the revenue that they will collect will outweigh the cost of generating electricity and transmitting electricity.
Right.
If they're not able to cover this cost in the stream, then of course we have a challenge here. Martin?
Okay. Clearly understood. And finally, Nana, before you take leave of us, government has been quiet. The power, those along the power value chain, the producers, the generators, the distributors are quiet. And I'm assuming they are all waiting for probably, like you're saying, the state authority to either nudge them into saying something or say something on their behalf. What is the best way forward? Where do we go from here?
If they say the government is quiet, the utilities are quiet, that's an uneasy calm. Saying that everything is all right or pretending that everything is all right. Government must speak. Government must give us an indication of what they are doing. Government must assure the utilities that, look, I'm in a position to address your issues. Just give me power. Just give me natural gas. In fact, I will be honest with my commitment that I make to you. That is enough of an assurance. But if government is not honest with its commitment and pledges to these entities, particularly in an electionary year, being quite apprehensive, they want to exact as much as they can get from government so that in case government changes handle, they don't get stranded because a new government will not sit with you. Right. You start aloof and never collected your money. Why do you come to me? And so the government we have today must be forthright with its pledges and must be forthright with the issues that's happening today to Ghanaians. Okay. And let's pray God give us more rain today because as we speak today, our backbone is the hydro. As this morning, Akosombo was running on 4 ports or turbines out of the 6. Pong was running almost full throttle. We saved our situation as well. Let's pray we have enough rain as we go forward so that we can be sustained, even as we have natural gas supply issues. We shouldn't be, God must be merciful with us to give us that hydro or the water to drive our turbines in that domain.
Right. Nana, thank you so much for your thoughts and your insights into this. Nana Amwesi the 7th is the Executive Director, Institute of Energy Security, Institute for Energy Securities. Thank you so much for your time this evening. So if you are still experiencing doom, so at least now you have a fair idea of what is causing the power outages. Well, the onus lies on the current government or on government to try and immediately try to resolve it, especially as we have begun a new year. Businesses are looking forward for a stable power supply, so at least they can also generate enough to pay the various things that we need to be paying for, including taxes. You're still listening to 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition. Let's go on to 3 key issues having to do with labor. Now, 3 labor unions have cautioned the Controller and Accountant General the delisted and suspending of salaries of public sector workers who have failed to register with their Ghana card. The Controller has issued a March deadline for all public sector employees to get their Ghana cards or forget about their salaries. However, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association want the Controller to engage organized labor for a roadmap to get the workers to register for the Ghana card rather than suspending their salaries. Let's listen to Angel Kabonu, who is the president of NAGRAT.
I think Controller is wrong in taking that unilateral decision. If you want every Ghana, because you see, the reason given is that they want the Ghana card, the possession of the Ghana card will be a means of controlling ghost names.
Yes.
I don't know how that could be, because if someone is not a worker in an institution, whether you have a Ghana card or you don't have a Ghana card, you are not a worker of that institution, so that institution is not supposed to pay you. So the possession of the Ghana card does not invalidate the crime that is being committed of not being an employee of an organization and yet being paid salary. Are you with me? So for me, I think it is red here, because this issue of Ghana card as a means of sanitizing the payroll started some time ago. Initially, they did not even give information from National Identification Authority. I assume that the Controller and Accountant General is going to pick information from the National Identification Authority and is realize that there are some people on the payroll who have not yet can identify where those people are. You understand? And say that, oh, Mr. ABCD is working with Ministry of Education. Mr. CDEF is working with Ministry of Interior, and so on and so forth. So you can get to those places and 1, find out whether those people are there, and 2, provide the means by which people register.
That is Angel Kabonu, president of NAGRAT. Meanwhile, the president of the Nurses and Midwives Association of Ghana, Perpetual Ofori, said that stopping salaries of workers is not the solution to this current challenge.
Having the Ghana card is important, but at the same time, having your salary cut is a serious matter, considering that we are going to have even VAT on residential tariffs, electricity tariffs by the electricity company. And we also have GPRTU even issuing some notices on increments in transport fares. All these are going to be a lot of burden on workers. And therefore, the solution, in my view, to having every worker have the Ghana card is not about cutting off the salary.
And that's Perpetual Ofori, who is the president of the Nurses and Midwives Association of Ghana. On to some other stories. Let's do some politics now. The National Democratic Congress, the NDC's 2020 electioneering campaign, had a specific promise which many reacted to. Now, that promise was to regulate and promote and legalize the operations of motorbikes for commercial purposes, which we popularly call here in Ghana as Okada in the country. And that campaign promise is yet to materialize, of course, because the NDC did not come into power. Well, the flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, has stoked the conversation again. He spoke exclusively to TV3 when he got to the outskirts of the Volta region to start his tour, and has been talking about the fact that the NDC will revisit that conversation of legalizing Okada to commercial purposes, which was quite topical in 2020. Let's listen to the former president.
And so the Okada thing, I raised it in the 2020 elections. Unfortunately, we didn't win to operationalize it. But if we do win, it's going to be in our manifesto again. If we do win, we're going to regulate it. And like has been done in other countries, it's well regulated. And the riders are taught methods of safe riding. Right now, because it's not regulated, anybody gets a motorbike, learns how to ride for a day or two, and the next day he's got a helmet and he's riding as an Okada rider. And so how many of them have licenses to even ride those motorbikes? We don't know. Because we just, like you said, behave like the ostrich. We've buried our head in the sand. We think that it's illegal. We say it's illegal, but you can't stop it. And it's a source of income for several young people. So we should make it safer. We should make it easy to identify these people who are involved.
Former President John Dramani Mahama on the fact that the NDC will return to the legalization, regulation, and promotion of the commercial motorbike business known as Okada. So what do you make of the revisiting of this particular issue? Let us know on our social media comments and our pages. We'll be happy to share your thoughts with the rest of the world. Meanwhile, he has also been speaking on other issues, including the fact that he accused the NPP of abandoning projects they inherited from the NDC administration. He was addressing a gathering attended by some traditional leaders in Sogakope as part of the Building Ghana tour in the Volta region. All right, so we'll bring you that specific sound of the former president in subsequent bulletins. He has been quite busy commencing the Building Ghana tour after taking a break for the Christmas festivities. All right, so in other political stories that took place earlier today, if you watched TV3 or you listened to Sunrise on 3FM, we spoke to the leader of the New Force movement and the organizer of the convention, which was cancelled, on their blind side. So Nana Kwame Bediako has been challenging the claims of applying to use the Black Star Square to unveil his intent to run for president under the pretext of holding a different event dubbed the convention. Speaking on his independent presidential bid, the man, also known as Freedom Jacob Caesar, says he will prioritize the declaration of his assets ahead of the polls. He spoke exclusively to TV3's Alfredo Kansei, which was aired earlier on New Day.
I'm not interested in promises, so our manifesto is not promising you anything. I'm not telling you I'll give you free HSS or I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you that. No, none of that. I'm not promising anybody. I am giving you hope that this is the way, that we go together and we build it together. It's as simple as that. You need to follow the trend. You need to be able to see your value that you have in the country, in your region, what is there, how you can turn it around. I'm here to create a middle-income economy. This middle-income economy will keep us stable, would at least give us a balance in living. Because today, when you see a lot of people who are running out of the country, and of course, the English people, the Americans, the Westerners are giving them offers. They're giving them visas and they're giving them 10,000 a month to come and work for them. So they're taking away our resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you didn't have value for them, that's why they're going. So I want to be able to create that value for them so they can stay, they can be with us. We worry about the person in the region, in the other region, and in the other region. And we are interested in the opportunity in that region that no one has looked at commercializing it for the benefits of the people, but rather there are foreign entities who have sneaked in to enter that space and extract it.
Nana Kwame Bediako is the leader of the New Force movement and the organizer of the convention, which was cancelled earlier over the weekend. He is putting in a bid to run as a presidential candidate, which has generated quite some conversation. Well, details of this and more on our website, 3news.com. Time now for business. Menu Aful will give us the details in a jiffy.
Hello, good evening. It's time now for the business segment on Hot Edition. Tonight, Social Security and National Insurance Trust increased monthly pension payments by 15%. We have the details. Stay with us. Thank you so much. Straight off first story, the highest earning pensioner as of December 31st, 2023 will be receiving an approximate monthly pension of 187,000 Ghana cedis, while the lowest earning pensioner will see an increase from 300 cedis to 409 cedis 10 pesos per month in 2024. This comes as the Social Security and National Insurance Trust announced a 15% indexation rate for pensions in Ghana, leading to these adjustments.
Pensioners on the SNIT pension payroll as of December 31, 2023, will experience a monthly pension boost with a fixed rate of 10% and a flat amount 5% redistributed of 79 cedis 10 pesos. The effective increase in pensions ranges from around 10% for the highest earning pensioner to approximately 36% for the lowest earning pensioner. This adjustment results in an additional pension expenditure of about 698 million cedis for the scheme.
So the lowest earning pensioner would effectively see an increase in their pensions by 36.37%. 36.37% will be the increase for such people compared to current inflation rates, which are in the low 20s.
Notably, this year's indexation is lower than the previous year's 25% and significantly lower than the average inflation rate of 40% in 2023.
So it's a hope that we will normalize. Inflation can come back to the single digits as the Bank of Ghana aims to do, which is 8% plus or minus 2%. And we will come back to trend. So yes, I agree with you that there is an initial shock. It's a deviation from the norm, but I think that in the end, we will mean revert.
The National Pensioners Association has commended SNIT for this upward adjustment.
People may think that last year we had 25, so maybe 30 or so. No, but it's not like that. Ours is any time at all when you go to your bank, you get the money. It's not that when you go, they tell you go and come. It has happened some years back, but not this time. So we are very happy. We were even thinking about 10%. So the 15 is good for us.
Even though many would have wanted a higher rate of increments, SNIT says the 15% indexation is in the best interest of the scheme to ensure its sustainability. Michael Obodu, 3 Business, Accra.
And that was a report by my colleague Michael Obodu. Away from that, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has bemoaned the little influence of the recent decline in inflation on prices of goods and services on the Ghanaian markets. The group is concerned that despite the continuous decline in the country's consumer price index of 23.2% in December from 53.2% in January 2024, prices still remain high. Director of Communications at GUTA, Joseph Paddy, Dartey wants the government to tackle the cost of capital and the general cost of doing business in the country to curb the rising cost of goods.
Government is telling us the inflation rate has come down to about 26. But let's ask ourselves, how does interest rate stand? We're still hovering around 35 to 40%. Policy rate is still at 30%. So which means the inflation that has come down has not have a positive effect on our interest rate. You see, and now the businessman go to bank to borrow at the rate of 40%, and putting all two together, and this is how we accumulate our price build-up. We put all these factors together to come out with a price. So if you see high prices of goods and services in the market, it's as a result of the high cost of doing business in the country. And that's where we want government to look into it, rather than government perceiving the businessman as a criminal or as a thief. And we frown on that.
That was the voice of Director of Communications at Scooter, Joseph Paddy. Now, Dimensions Data in Ghana is to come under new ownership. The company will trade under a new name following a management buyout by Yvette Atekpe, who has been leading the company for the last 16 years. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
Yvette Atekpe is an award-winning and highly respected business leader. She has been actively involved in the information communication technology ICT industry for close to 30 years, and for the past 20 years has dedicated herself to the advancement of the industry in Ghana. Yvette is highly qualified, and together with her extensive business, technology and leadership experience has enabled her to build extremely successful businesses, achieving consecutive year-on-year growth even during challenging economic conditions. Yvette's relationship with Dimension Data in Ghana dates back to 2008, when her local company Aslon was acquired by South African-based Dimension Data. Aslon rebranded to Internet Solutions, and Yvette led IS Internet Solutions Ghana to be the country's leading service provider, winning many awards. Together with IS Internet Solutions team, Yvette brought many innovative products to market, expanding the country's ICT connectivity, enabling better communication locally, across the continent and internationally. The innovative and entrepreneurial culture that Yvette nurtured at IS Internet Solutions led to the company being named the fastest growing subsidiary of the Dimension Data Group, operations in over 90 countries in 2015.
And that over there was a profile on Yvette Atekpe, who has acquired the locally owned company Dimension Data in Ghana. Bringing us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition. My name is Minwa. For Bill Ishen, we'll soon join in with the sports segment. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen, and of course, we start off from the Black Stars, who had their first training session in Abidjan on Wednesday evening, following the arrival from Kumasi earlier that day. Under the guidance of Coach Chris Hughton, the team enthusiastically practiced various drills during their training session, which lasted little over an hour. The opening game for Ghana will be on the January 14th. Against Cape Verde. Now, assistant coach of the team, Didi Dramani, believes that success in the competition isn't necessarily hinged on winning it entirely.
I'm not sure there's a country that is participating in the AFCON and then the assertion is that you are going to bring the cup home. That is not what it is. You are trying to put things together. You are trying to evolve the game. You are trying to create the element of success. Element of success is not just done by today, or is just not done by the way you say it. It's all put in place by the way you put things together. And so we need to be very, very deliberate. We need to be very consistent. We need to be very patient in the way we try to articulate things. You know, the fact that you say, I want money doesn't give you money. So it's the same thing. The fact that you say that I want to go and win doesn't give you winning. And the fact that you don't say it doesn't mean you don't want to win. It is all about you projecting the elements of creating success. And the elements of creating success, this is one of them. And your work that you are doing is part of it.
That was Masood Didi Dramani, the assistant coach of the Black Stars. Now, Manchester United and England winger Jadon Sancho has rejoined former club Borussia Dortmund on loan for the rest of the 2023-24 season. Also, Tottenham defender Eric Dyer is close to completing a move to Bayern Munich for a fee of €4 million. The England international has been out of favour under Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou, making 4 Premier League appearances this season. He will join former Tottenham and England teammate Harry Kane at the 32-time Bundesliga champions, that is Bayern Munich. Also, before I end, former England boss Sven-Göran Eriksson says he has at best 1 year to live after being diagnosed with cancer. The 75-year-old Swede was the first foreign coach to manage England and led the side to the quarterfinals of the 2006 World Cup. Now, Eriksson, who had a 42-year career in management, learned of his cancer diagnosis almost 1 year ago. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen, and up next is entertainment with Akofa.
Thank you very much, Bill, for bringing us up to speed on all that's happening in the world of sports. Thank you for staying with us here on Hot Edition. It's now time for the entertainment news segment right here on 3FM 92.7's Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Now we begin with the Chefs Association of Ghana, which is embarking on a nationwide training for practitioners to build capacity and improving standards in the hospitality industry. Now, the 6 days project is tagged at some 400 chefs within the food services industry on current food trends and help reduce the incidence of food allergies and food poisoning cases in the country.
All these allergens are protein in nature. You have to be very careful when you are choosing your menus. Something like chicken, I made mention that some people have allergies.
The ongoing training is to equip industry practitioners on the need to improve standards within the food ecosystem, and it's expected to train some 400 chefs nationwide. Speaking at the commencement, the president of the Ghana Chefs Association said it was important that practitioners became abreast with the current food trends and reduce the incidence of food allergies and food poisoning cases in the country in order to render professional services as Ghana welcomes the world.
If you go to most kitchens, especially from the budget to 1-star, 2-star hotel, there's a lot of contamination that is going on there. So we need to equip the chefs with those kind of knowledge in terms of cross-contamination. Sometimes we may hear a lot of food poisons and all those things, and all those food poisons normally come through cross-contamination. Even right from the source where we are buying our products, the transition period before this food enter into our kitchens, there's a whole lot of. So we need to educate them about the safety of the customer. And
tagged as the fourth profitability sector, Ghana's hospitality industry, according to some key stakeholders, lacks skilled workers, and there's a need for more skill centers to equip individuals with professional training.
So there's a lot of opportunities within our hospitality industry, which we need to try to, as a nation, we need to try to focus on it. There's a lot of youth which they don't have any work to do, right? So if we are able to get centers that can be able to equip these people with the professional knowledge as well as the skills in terms of chefs, why not? We can able to get people to work in those kind of facilities.
Well, thank you for your time. That will be all the entertainment news here on a Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thanks for your time. The 3FM Drive team continues.